Hello my lovelies, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jamie, and if you have not been here before, then this would be your first TBR game video. And for those of you who have been here before, I have finally created my first TBR game. I am so excited. I spent literally all month working on this. It took a minute and I had to find something to put this on, but I am so excited that I created this and I get to show you guys my first game today. I am super excited. All these cards are like what you would find in the TBR prompt jar. This is just a good way to kind of spice it up a little bit more. I've been feeling very draggy with just the regular TBR prompt jar that I wanted something new. So that's what we're gonna do today. And then from the cards perspective, I have added on every single book of the month that I have not read this year that I have bought. So starting with the beginning and all the way to the newest, which would be Red City and Hazelthorn. Those are my newest ones. I have completed my 25 for 2025. I am so excited that that is finally done. But I still have 3 new books that I have not read this year. And not only that, but I've also been wanting to read a few of my book of the months that I have received. I haven't read any of them that I've obtained this year. I think I've only read one, and that was Enchantra. So I figured what better way to spice up my TBR than putting on all the new books that I haven't achieved this year and get another list thing done. I can't believe we're already in November. We are literally almost done with the end of the year. It's just insane, but it's so cool to be able to pick something else up. So I wrote down a couple of rules because what's a game without a few rules? Starting off, showing you guys the board. I had so much fun making this, I'm gonna tell you. But every other one is a genre. So we got romance, fantasy, classic, and we also got thriller and children's on here. So that's every other space on here, is I get to pick a genre and then draw a card, and then usually that card will be a prompt that I have to do for that genre. Very easy, very simple. For every other space, like these are my Netgalley books, my series book, any new releases that I haven't read, anything borrowed. So ones that will definitely narrow down my TBR even more. So I know Kindle Unlimited's on here, an art copy, just a bunch of different stuff on here to kind of be well-rounded usually, because I've just been picking up from my physical TBR instead of picking from everything. So it's definitely going to help my other lists, like from the library and Spotify, Everand, all those. It'll definitely help with this. But I am so excited to get started, and if we hit a jail, I will definitely let you know what that is and the rule I came up with for that. Hopefully we won't, but if we do, you'll get to see. So we're gonna do the typical 8 or as many as it takes to do 1 round around the board, because I'm just gonna be using 1 die. Let's get started with this. I haven't found any placeholders that I want to use permanently. Bye, Luna. So we're gonna use my little Dratini. I have a bunch of these just lying around, and I figured why not use these little guys to be my little board markers for when I play this game. I have a few, but I wanted to use Dratini as my first one, so my nerdiness is definitely showing. Alright, so starting off with our very first roll, we got a 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I get to do a Kindle book and the book wheel. So I went ahead and did the spinner wheel because this is on my phone, so it makes it hard to do 2 things at once. But it came up with Together We Lie. This was one of the ones that I didn't get to before I went to the convention I went to in August. I felt really bad, so I kept all of the ones that I didn't get to on my list, and I am going to slowly read them over the course of the rest of the year and probably into next year. But this is one I was really excited for. This was the assassination attempt. So Together We Lie is going to be our first book for our November TBR. Okay, on to our second one. 2. Okay, so you're gonna move 1, 2. I get to do a new release. I get to pick 4 and roll. Okay, so hang on. All right, so I picked 4. We're gonna do these, and we're gonna keep them in this order. So number 1 is gonna be Dirty Diana. This was from the very beginning of this year, and I still haven't gotten around to it, even though it's drastically short. The next one is Hazelthorn. I did receive this very recently. This was my last book of the month pick. Fun for the whole family. I have been wanting to read all year, and they were the only ones that had a physical copy of it. I would love to read that this year and get that off of my list. And then Play Nice is a thriller about a haunted house, social media, and all that other stuff. I am really, really interested in reading this one. This one was actually one of the book clubs I'm a part of. This was their book for last month, and I didn't get around to it this month. I would like to get to it before the end of the fall season. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, and 4. I didn't realize that Dirty Diana was actually from last year, so it's not technically newest release. I had to switch it out. These are officially all the ones I've received this year, so we're gonna do this again. So the Dirty Diana one got picked, so I just swapped that one out, and we're gonna do this again. So starting off, we're gonna do this again. 2. Okay, so that. Yes. Hazelthorn, yay! Okay. I'm a little disappointed it wasn't fun for the whole family, but you know what? I'm really excited for this. This literally came out last month. Excuse me, my cat stole something. I am really, really excited to read this. It came out last month. I am really intrigued by it. It not only just looks gory, but it looks something right up my alley. I'm very excited about this. This is gonna be book number 2. Okay, that was 2. It's number 3. It's 5. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get to do a classic, and we get to draw. So yeah, it's a classic, but it must be a dystopian. Oh gosh. All right, that one was a little bit hard to find one for. That is something I definitely didn't have up here. But going through the list of what they consider dystopian classics, that was mostly 1984, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit 451. Those are all ones that I have already read. But also on that list was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I have been wanting to read this too, and this is kind of what I meant by I wanted to get out of using the TBR card just a little bit, was it was going to bring me things that I probably wouldn't have gotten to for a very long time. I'm very excited to start this. This is very, very short. It has definitely been something I've been interested in for a minute. Know nothing about it. I've never seen the show, never read the book. Haven't really heard much about it either. People are very quiet when it comes to what it's about. But it was definitely on the classic list if you haven't read it. So this is going to be number 3 on our November TBR. All right, well, that one was interesting. So let's roll for number 4. A 5 again. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get to number generator my Spotify. That's going to be interesting. All right, this one will be really easy because I have done this before for a reading log before, where I picked from my Spotify playlist. So I wrote them all down in number order, and there's 68 on here. So we're definitely going to be picking a definite random one. And this could be anything. This could be a popular, it could be an old one, it could be a classic, it could be anything. So picking from my Spotify playlist is going to be number 22. So number 22. Oh my God. That is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I have never picked an Abby Jimenez book for my TBR before. And I have never read one of her books either. Oh, that is definitely diving into unknown territory. Okay, So I guess we're doing Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez as our fourth book. That's crazy. We may end up having to go around again because we are already more than halfway through the board. Alright, this is pick number 5. We get a 3. So that's what? No! Oh god. Okay. Alright, I was kind of hoping I wouldn't have to show you guys what the jail was. But I guess we get to do it to introduce it. So, my rules for the jail that I decided on was I have to roll a 3 in order to get out of the jail. So, every time that I don't roll a 3, if I get it the first try, then I just get to move on like nothing happened. If I don't, I have to add a book to my physical TBR for this month. If I reach up to 8 and I still have not rolled a 3, we have to scrap everything that we did and restart. Since I picked 8 books, it's basically a reset and I have to restart 8 different books. So that's the rule for the jail. They sound so brutal, but you know what? You gotta make a game interesting, and that's how I made it interesting. So I was hoping I didn't land on the jail, but you know what? That's okay. So we're going to use this. I have to roll a 3. Even if I make it to 7 and I roll a 3, I have to add 7 books to my physical TBR. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. We're gonna find out. Okay, the goal is 3. That's a 2. All right, so that's 1. I'm gonna use this hand to kind of count my books because that's already 1. 2, because that was a 1. 3. Okay, so I only have to add 2 books to my physical TBR, which means I'm actually reading 10 this month. That's not bad. It's a lot better than the alternative. Okay, I can do that. Alright, so we're going to go through, we're going to do our 8, and then I'm going to add on another 2. Hopefully I don't land on jail. Oh, I'm not going to say that. I don't have any wood to knock on. Hang on. I can't say that. Alright, now we're going to spin to hop out of the jail. That's a 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on a physical TBR pick, and I just have to draw. Must have a nature on the cover. Alright, so it has to have nature on the cover, and it can literally be anything I physically have. That's okay. I can deal with that. I haven't picked much from here yet, so I am going to pick one of these. I think that one's just a painting. Let's see if the whole family at least has an animal. And we don't, so that one doesn't count. I would consider that one, but it just has a big animal on the cover. Let's play nice. Have anything other than the house? No, it doesn't. Okay. Moving right along. I think we're just process of elimination at this point. That one just has her on it. The Ghost Rider, I think, just has... Yep, that just has... Well, I'm not going to count fire as nature, because that doesn't really count. That's more of like an element. Ooh! Babylonia. It's got all the ivy around it. That counts, definitely. And it's got animals in case it doesn't fully count. I have been wanting to read this. This one I was really, really intrigued when I first got it. King's Fall, Queen's Rise, and it definitely is giving me medieval. Yeah. I am very excited to read this. I am very happy to add this to the TBR. So this is going to be our book number 5, physical TBR with nature on the cover. Alright, so far we are halfway through the game because we've reached 5 books. 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, we get another Kindle book. Alright, so after spinning the Kindle TBR wheel again, it landed on Saving the Beast. This one I am super, super excited to read and get a hold of. Another one from the convention that I didn't get around finishing. I read like the first couple of pages of each of the ones I didn't get to, and it sounded really, really good. This one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, football version. So I believe it's football. I could be wrong. Either way, it's supposed to be sports related or college related or both. It's been a long time. Okay, it's been since August. I don't remember every single book that I chose for that. So this is going to be our 6th book for November TBR. All right, spinning for number 7. Number 7 is a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a Netgalley book. I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't get this one because I have been holding off on reading it. The only Netgalley book that I have not read yet that I've already been approved for is Once and For All. This is Rebecca Serle's new book that she is coming out with in March, I believe, and that's how long I have to read this, is before March. So I kind of was holding off on reading it, but for the TBR purposes, I guess I'm reading it this month. I'm kind of excited because Rebecca Serle is definitely, she's got a good, we're good as far as the track record goes, but she doesn't wow me. I do really like her ideas in her books though, so I'm very excited to read this one. It's the last Netgalley one I have, so if I pick it again, I'm gonna have to just skip it because I don't have any more. She is going to be number 7. Okay, this is where we would have stopped the first time. Number 8. 2. So that one is an indie author, number generator. Okay, that one's gonna be fun. I have my indie author list. These are all authors that I've already read one of their books for, and it's part of a series, and I want to continue it, or I have a physical copy of one of their books and I want to read that specific one. So it's only a 1 through 12, so this one will be a lot shorter compared to the Spotify playlist. So Spotify is definitely long because I don't get to pick from it very often. So this one, we're gonna change it to 12. All right, and let's see which one we're doing. Number 11. Number 11. I'm so excited. I'll be right back. Hang on. So number 11 is Ava Lynn Wood. She is actually one that I met while I went to Clearwater for a different convention before going to the one I went to in August. And I got a book from her titled In a Dream. I got this one from her while I was at that convention. I only bought like a few books when I went the first 2 times because I wasn't really prepared, but I was prepared, you know. This one I was super intrigued about. I'm very excited to read this. This has been on my shelf for a couple of years. This is one of the ones I definitely need to read, but I am so excited. Seeing her for the first time definitely was kind of what sparked my indie author love, was meeting her, realizing, oh my god, these ladies are just like us. They're just trying to make it in the world and doing everything themselves. I asked her a lot of indie author questions, like what they did for the publishing, how it was different, and all this other stuff that prepped me for that. But I didn't really do a deep dive until this year. Alright guys, we are on number 9. We gotta pick 2 more. That is 1. Okay, we get a nonfiction. So, let's see what it has to be with. Must be an author you have not read. That is definitely going to be easy. So reading a nonfiction is very, very easy for me because I always keep a couple from the library up there. One of the more recent ones that I got a hold of, but this is Cleaning House, Fight with Toxic Chemicals. I have always kind of been very self-aware of what I use to clean, what we're eating. I'm usually try to keep it very clean. Sometimes I just can't afford to do so I do a lot of things myself. But it's very, very short. I do want to read a lot about this. This is one of the few nonfictions that just catch my eye that, I kind of wanted to read a little bit about. I figured this would be a good nonfiction for me to read. I haven't read a nonfiction in a minute, so we're due. And I'm gonna need a good palate cleanser in between all of these, something very short and sweet. So this was definitely a good call. Thank you. Number 9. We got one more left to do. We are almost done. All right, this is our last roll. Roll number 10. 4. So that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4. I get to read a memoir. That is not very often that happens. Okay. But it must be an author you have read before. Okay, so I had to pick a memoir about someone that I read before. That's gonna be very hard. All right, that one was a little hard. It took me a minute to find something that has been from an author I read before. I did find a couple from older authors like George Orwell. I found he had one. Believe it or not, the one I decided on is one that I've heard recently about, and that is On Writing. This is by Stephen King. This is his memoir about his writing process and what he does to write his novels. And I honestly have been very curious about this one anyway. It is on Everand, so it'd be very easy for me to listen to it. It is also very short from what I've seen from the website. I guess this is going to be number 10 because I can't think of anything by anybody that I've already read from. Number 10. Guys, that is definitely a long list. I am thankful there is some nonfiction in here because I'm definitely going to need that as a breakup. So we are going to do a little recap real quick since we have so many Kindle and audiobook reads. We're going to make it a rapid fire. Okay, so the first one was a Kindle book. It was Together We Lie by Vari Scott. Next one is going to be Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews as our newest release. Next is a dystopian classic, so we picked The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. The next one was a Spotify number generator pick, and it ended up picking Part of Your World by Jimenez. Number 5 is a physical TBR pick that has to have nature on the cover. We went with Babylonia by Costanza. Casati? I don't know. Number 6 is another Kindle book. This is Saving the Beast by Schuyler. Number 7 was a Netgalley pick, so we picked Once and For All by Serle. This is going to be coming out in March. Number 8 is an indie author, so we picked In a Dream by Lynn Wood. Number 9 is a nonfiction, so we decided on Cleaning House by Lindsay Dahl. And the last one, it has to be a memoir from an author I have read before, so we decided on In Writing by Stephen King. I am so tired. This game lasted so long. I've probably been sitting here for an hour and a half, but that's okay. I definitely got some new releases that I'm very much looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Babylonia and Hazelthorn, especially the Netgalley book. That one will be fun. And I got a lot of, this is definitely going to be interesting, adding on that jail card that added 2 extra books to my TBR that I'm not used to having. So I'm just thankful that a lot of these books are very, very small compared to what they were last month. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me and going through my TBR game with me. That was a lot of fun. I definitely want to do this again. I've been getting books that I haven't gotten the chance to reading, to be honest, and it was nice to pick some physical ones. It won't be like this again next month because I'll be rearranging this all over again. This was just to catch up a little bit on the book of the months. Thank you so much for joining me. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. That'll help me bring you guys more videos every week. But I love your reads and trick your trees. And I'm gonna go get started on reading some more. Bye!